Wealth is not something far away, hidden in the clouds, waiting to be earned with toil and struggle. Wealth is here, now, ever, present, ready to pour into the life of the one who gives the right command. The world has taught us to beg, to worry, to chase, but Spirit asks us only to command. For life is a game, and the spoken word is the move that shifts every piece on the board. When you speak with faith, the unseen obeys, and what was invisible becomes visible, what was impossible becomes natural. Wealth is not distant or difficult. It already exists and is released by the right spoken command. The mind has been trained to think of wealth as something far away, something that must be chased with endless effort, or something that only a chosen few can reach after years of labor. Yet this is an illusion created by fear and limitation. In truth, wealth is a spiritual substance ever present in the universe, waiting to be spoken into form. The gold, the silver, the opportunities, the channels of supply, they are already prepared, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the voice of faith to call them forth. When you understand that wealth is not something to earn but something to reveal, the whole picture of life changes. You stop begging and start commanding. You stop worrying and start declaring. The spoken word is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Just as a seed contains within it the promise of a tree, your words contain within them the power to shape circumstances, attract resources, and transform situations. Wealth responds not to anxiety, but to authority. If you continually say, "I am broke, I can't afford this, life is unfair," then you are commanding poverty to take its place in your life. But if you declare, "I live in abundance, I am divinely supplied, riches flow to me now," then you open the channel for the flow of plenty to appear. Every word carries a vibration, and that vibration calls forth its own likeness. Speak scarcity, and scarcity appears. Speak abundance, and abundance rushes to meet you. It is not about wishing, hoping, or trying. It is about knowing and commanding. The right spoken command is not a weak request, but a decree given with the certainty of one who knows their inheritance. When a king gives an order, he does not hope it will be obeyed, he expects it because he knows his authority. In the same way, when you speak wealth into your life, you must speak as one who knows that the universe is already moving in your favor. The supply is there, the doors are already open, the people, the ideas, the opportunities, they are aligned, waiting to be called forth. Many people pray for wealth but continue to affirm lack with their daily speech. They cancel their own prayers with words of fear. They ask for abundance in silence but speak of shortage in conversation. The right command must be consistent, unwavering, and filled with faith. Say it in the morning, say it in the night, and most importantly, live as though it is already done. Walk as if you are provided for. Act as if supply surrounds you. When you do this, the invisible supply turns visible, and wealth that seemed far away suddenly becomes your reality. Wealth is not distant, nor is it difficult. It is here now, waiting for your word. Your spoken command is the key that unlocks the treasure chest already placed before you. When you dare to speak it with faith, you discover that riches were never missing. They were only waiting for your voice. Words of faith carry creative power. What you declare with belief manifests into visible form. Every word spoken is more than sound. It is a seed planted in the soil of the unseen. Just as the farmer does not doubt that his seed will grow into a harvest, the one who understands the power of the spoken word does not doubt that his declaration will bear fruit. The universe is a field of limitless potential, and the word charged with faith is the command that shapes this potential into reality. To speak is to create, to affirm is to mold, and to declare with belief is to call forth that which has always existed in spirit into the material world. When words are spoken without faith, they are like seeds scattered on rocky ground. Nothing takes root and no harvest appears. But when words are spoken with conviction, when they are filled with expectancy and trust, they vibrate with life. They summon opportunities, resources, and circumstances into alignment. This is why the ancient teachers said, "By your words you are justified," and by your words you are condemned. The word creates according to its nature, and it returns multiplied to the one who spoke it. Speak health, and the body responds. Speak failure, and life mirrors failure back. Speak wealth, and unseen forces gather to make it so. The secret lies not just in repeating phrases, but in filling them with living faith. A hollow word carries no power, but a word spoken with imagination and certainty shakes the invisible into movement. Faith is the breath that gives the word life, and without it the word is empty sound. When you declare, I am prospered, I am supplied, I am guided, you must feel it, see it, and accept it as true now. The universe does not delay because spirit is outside of time. What is accepted in faith instantly exists in the realm of spirit, and soon after, it shows itself in form. Many people use their words carelessly, unaware that each complaint, each statement of lack, each fearful declaration plants seeds of limitation. They say, money never lasts, opportunities pass me by, nothing works out, and then wonder why life reflects these very conditions. The law does not discriminate, it simply returns to each the harvest of their own words, but the moment one awakens to this truth, they can begin to use words as tools of creation rather than weapons against themselves. To declare with belief is to choose creation over chance, certainty over doubt. The one who understands this power watches their words as a gardener watches their field. They sow only what they wish to reap. They affirm only what they desire to live. In this way, the word becomes not a casual sound, but a command of faith, and through that command, the invisible becomes visible. Wealth, health, harmony, and success are not accidents. They are spoken into being. The one command that unlocks unlimited wealth is affirming, I am divinely provided for. Riches flow to me under grace in perfect ways. This statement is not a wish or a hope. It is a decree spoken into the infinite field of spirit. It carries within it the authority of divine law, for when you affirm provision as already given, you align yourself with the eternal source of supply. Too often, people cry out in desperation, asking and pleading for their needs to be met, all the while confessing lack with every other word. Yet the universe does not respond to begging, it responds to faith. This simple command, when spoken with conviction, does not ask for riches, it claims them. It does not plead for provision, it recognizes provision as already established, waiting only for acceptance. I am divinely provided for is a recognition of your true position. It lifts you out of the realm of chance and places you in the flow of certainty. To declare this is to step into your inheritance as one who is supplied by an infinite source. No longer do you depend on one person, one job, or one channel, for you know that Spirit has unlimited ways of bringing supply to you. When you affirm that riches flow under grace, you release the need for strain, struggle, or manipulation. Grace means effortless harmony, the divine timing and order by which blessings arrive in ways that do not harm, but uplift. The right command acknowledges that provision comes not through force, but through alignment, not through anxiety, but through trust. Riches flow to me under grace in perfect ways, is a reminder that wealth is not to be grasped with fear but received with peace. This command leaves room for miracles. It allows doors to open where none existed, channels to appear beyond reason, and supply to pour forth from unexpected places. When this affirmation is spoken, it sends a signal into the unseen that you are ready, that you are aligned, and that you trust the higher law of abundance to work on your behalf. It is not your duty to figure out how the riches will come, only to declare that they are already flowing. When spoken daily with conviction, this command reshapes the mind and reconditions the heart. Fear loses its grip because you no longer look at appearances of lack, you look to the source that never fails. Doubt fades because the word spoken in faith has already set the law in motion. As you affirm this truth, life begins to mirror it back. Opportunities arise, ideas surface, people are drawn to you, and provision comes in ways that remind you that nothing is impossible to the word of faith. This one command is enough to dissolve years of struggle, because it shifts you from asking to declaring, from hoping to knowing. It is the voice of authority over your own life, and when you dare to speak it without wavering, the universe cannot help but obey. The riches were already yours. They now flow to you under grace in perfect ways. Lack and fear have no power unless you give them voice. Speak only abundance, and life obeys. Every word spoken is a choice of alignment. When you speak words of fear, you open the door for fear to rule your life. When you give energy to lack by declaring it, you make it real in your experience. Yet these conditions have no true substance of their own. They are shadows without form until your words breathe life into them. Spirit does not create poverty, fear, or limitation. These are illusions sustained only by the repeated affirmation of human thought and speech. The moment you withdraw your agreement and stop voicing them, their hold begins to dissolve. Just as darkness has no power in itself, but disappears when light is brought in, lack and fear vanish when you stop affirming them and replace them with the light of abundance. To speak only abundance is to refuse to give attention to appearances of want. Life often tempts us to describe our conditions exactly as they seem, to say, "I have no money," or "I don't know what to do," or "everything is going wrong." But when you affirm these conditions, you are not just describing them, you are commanding them to stay. Words spoken with feeling seal the pattern of your experience. This is why the discipline of speech is so vital. When appearances suggest shortage, you must resist the urge to confirm it with your words and instead speak the truth of spirit. I am abundantly supplied. Every need is met. There is no lack in divine mind, and I reflect that abundance now. Such declarations do not deny reality. They create a higher reality that overrides the lower. Fear, too, waits for your voice. It may whisper in your mind, but it cannot manifest until you agree with it by speaking it. Fear says, "What if things don't work out? What if I lose everything? What if I fail?" If you echo these thoughts with your lips, you give them the power to shape your life. But if you answer fear with words of authority, you strip it of its influence. Declare, "There is nothing to fear. Divine protection surrounds me. Goodness and supply are my inheritance." In that instant, you take back your authority and fear loses its grip. The world is shaped by what you continually affirm. Speak abundance, and life organizes itself around your word. The channels of supply open, the right people appear, the perfect opportunities unfold, because your consistent declaration of wealth becomes the blueprint the universe follows. Speak lack, and you invite blockages, delays, and disappointments, not because spirit withholds, but because your words have commanded the shadows to linger. The law is exact, and it cannot be mocked. Whatever you affirm, you live. So the power rests with your tongue. Life listens and obeys. You may choose to speak fear and lack and keep them alive, or you may choose to speak abundance and allow the flow of supply to reveal itself. The decision is made with every word you utter. Silence the language of limitation and fill your mouth with the words of wealth. For as surely as night yields to dawn, life must reflect the abundance you continually declare. Wealth does not come through striving, but through alignment with divine law, which answers to affirmations of faith. The world has taught that riches are won only by relentless struggle, by endless hours of labor, by competition and grasping. Yet many who chase wealth in this way find themselves weary, anxious, and still unsatisfied. True wealth is not the result of frantic effort, but of harmony with the spiritual laws that govern supply. Just as a tree does not strain to grow, but simply abides in the rhythm of nature, so too does abundance come when a person aligns with the unseen current of provision. Striving springs from fear, but alignment springs from trust. Striving says, "I must make this happen by force." Alignment says, "I know that everything is already prepared for me, and I step into it by faith." Affirmations of faith are the keys that turn the lock of divine law. When you declare, I prosper in everything I do. I am guided to right opportunities. My supply is endless, inexhaustible, and immediate. You place yourself in tune with the vibration of abundance. This alignment removes struggle because it lifts you out of the belief that you must do everything alone. It opens you to guidance, to ideas, to inspiration, to the right people and the right timing. Wealth flows naturally to the one who expects it and affirms it, because their inner state harmonizes with the law of supply. Just as a magnet draws iron filings, the aligned mind draws wealth without strain. The struggle many endure comes from resisting the flow of good by affirming fear, by clinging to doubt, by believing that scarcity rules the world. These thoughts create a barrier that blocks the current. But the moment one chooses to trust, to speak words of faith rather than fear, the barriers crumble. Striving then becomes unnecessary, for what once seemed like hard labor transforms into inspired action, filled with ease and supported by unseen forces. When you affirm your supply and believe in divine order, even the simplest steps you take are multiplied, and results appear beyond your own calculation. Consider the difference between a worker who labors in panic, convinced that everything depends on their effort, and one who moves calmly, declaring, "I am always in the right place at the right time. My steps are ordered. My prosperity is secure." The first may exhaust themselves with little to show, while the second finds doors opening, opportunities presenting themselves, and success unfolding naturally. This is the difference between striving and alignment. The same actions may be taken, but the results are worlds apart because one is rooted in fear and the other in faith. Divine law is unfailing, impartial, and exact. It cannot be bent by desperation, but it answers instantly to the voice of faith. When you align with it through affirmation, you place yourself in its current, and wealth flows to you as surely as rivers flow to the sea. Striving binds you to limitation, but alignment frees you to receive abundance with ease. Therefore, the highest work is not frantic effort, but the daily discipline of faith, filled words that keep you tuned to the frequency of supply. Wealth then ceases to be a battle and becomes the natural outcome of living in harmony with divine law. When you speak as though abundance is already yours, unseen doors open, and wealth flows in multiplied forms. The universe does not wait for tomorrow to act. It responds instantly to the vibration of certainty. When a person affirms riches with confidence, not as something hoped for, but as something already attained, they shift their place in the order of life. They no longer stand outside of prosperity, begging to be let in, but they take their seat as one who already belongs to the feast of abundance. This shift in consciousness is the true key, for wealth is not first a matter of possession, but of recognition. You must see yourself as already rich in spirit before riches can manifest in form. To speak as though abundance is yours is to refuse the language of delay. It is to stop saying, "One day I will have, one day I will achieve, one day I will prosper," and instead to declare, "I have it now, prosperity is here, my wealth is unfolding this very moment." This form of speech does not deny present circumstances, it overrides them with a higher truth. Appearances may suggest lack, but words of faith announce the reality of supply. The invisible responds, and the visible must eventually conform. By living in the vibration of already, you call into being the things that seemed far away, and you bring them into your present experience. Unseen doors open to the one who dares to speak in this way. Opportunities that were hidden reveal themselves, paths that seemed blocked clear suddenly, people who carry the answers you need are drawn into your orbit, and solutions appear with perfect timing. All this happens because your words of certainty act as a signal, summoning the resources that match your conviction. Life is always listening, and when it hears you speak as though you are already supplied, it hastens to mirror that truth. The flow of wealth is never limited to a single channel. When you declare abundance as already yours, supply arrives from multiplied forms. A new idea may come to you, opening a profitable venture. A forgotten connection may return with an offer. Money may arrive from a source you never expected. The universe is creative and unlimited, and once you step into the state of abundance, it uses countless channels to bring provision. Your part is not to dictate how wealth will come, but to affirm that it is already here, already flowing, already yours in consciousness. The details are handled by Spirit, which knows more ways to bless you than you could ever imagine. This is why the language of certainty is so powerful. To speak in the present tense of wealth is to declare yourself aligned with divine order. It is to claim your rightful inheritance and to act as though the promise is already fulfilled. And in that act of faith, the unseen moves, the doors swing wide, and abundance comes rushing in, multiplied, overflowing, and complete.